Good morning today, 31st July 2024. We are going to discuss editorials of The Hindu. On the front line, unfortunately, landslide happened in Kerala's Wayanad region. It killed almost 122 people. Now, search and rescue operation is happening by NDRF team, State Disaster Response Force team, and even voluntary organizations also. Count may increase. This article, as and when it will be published, we will discuss in detail about landslides, which are all the areas prone to landslides, what kind of action should be taken. The next good thing is India second medal count came from Sarabjot Singh and Manu Bhakar pair. They won bronze medal in pistol 10-meter mixed team. So again, congratulations to India entering into Olympics with two medal tally. First article here, it talks about licensed as digital content creators. This article mostly dictates about the political things, though there is media content, how media content need to be regulated. These things are discussed. However, huge political content, so we are not going to discuss this article. This article also we are not going to discuss. This article it talks about governors. What kind of action should be taken by governor? So this article we will discuss in detail. This article talks about employment. What is the employment prospects in India? What kind of measures that have been taken in the budget? This article it talks about legal advisory council like economic advisory council that advises prime minister on economic related matters. There should be legal advisory council to advise prime minister council on legal affairs. So this article is very important. We will discuss this article. This article is not important, highly political oriented. These are all data. So today's quote is heart is a good fertilizer. Anything we plant, love, fear, hate, hope, revenge, jealousy, surely grows or bears a fruit. We have to decide what to harvest. So this article can be written in several contexts. Now hate is happening, hate against hate speeches are happening, communal violences are happening. So when you sow seeds of communal violence, it will reap and then leads to terrorism and even violence in the society. So it is absolutely and a must sure that we have to fill our hearts with love. We have to fill our hearts with hope. Even in the face of dark period, we have to fill our hearts with hope. That's what Swami Vivekananda is told. The first article it talks about governors. We will talk about governors. Governors will be appointed by president to state. So governor, what they do, they appoint chief minister plus council of minister. Chief minister oath will be taken. Post that, governor they form government and they participate in assembly activities. During assembly, bills will be passed. These bills will be gone through governor. Governor have three options. One is he can give assent to the bill. That means he can accept the bill, then the bill become act. Second thing, he can reject the bill. Third thing, he can just put on hold, or he can recommend to president. It is area where in this thing, governor role become very contentious. Even in president rule also, governor role is highly debated. So governor, sometimes it is told that governor behaves as a agent of the central government, not the state government. In states, politically elected representatives politically elected representatives are representing people, not the governor. Governor is the constitutional machinery. He should function according to constitution and within the limits of the constitution. However, the role of the governor in these days has become very contentious and he is acting as a advisory to central government, which is highly debatable. In this context, so this article is being written. As we discussed, the role of governors has become very contentious and then they are operating outside the constitution. The role of governor is questioned in case of the Punjab, where they have taken about their action, and they haven't taken any action in case of the Tamil Nadu and Telangana. Governors will end their deliberate inaction on bill passed by assemblies. That's what Supreme Court believed. But upon finding that they have discretion to directly sit indefinitely on those bills without giving approval to them or without rejecting them. So they sent the bill to president consideration. That is the strategy they are employing. With what happens when it is sent to president, president acts on the aid and advice of the prime minister and council of ministers. So it is basically directly leading to central government. Central government directly taking action on the state government legislatures. When president refuses assent, advice, as we discussed, there is no recourse left to state legislature. So state legislature cannot do, so central government directly involves in the state legislature. There rise one question now. So whether those bills should be reserved for president consideration, it is being highly misused, and it even deviates the principle of federalism. In other words, central government directly involved in the state laws, and then it is violation of the constitution because it is not mentioned anywhere in the constitution. This is what happened exactly in Kerala, where the Kerala government passed a writ petition before the court challenging the governor action on the some of the bills that have been sent to president, and then president refused assent to those bills. Now it is a highly appropriate time for court to adjudicate the question and place limitation on the option given to governors. So governors reserving bill to president should be carefully reviewed and then suitable decision should be taken. In Punjab case, court ruled governors do not have veto over bills. They cannot reject the bill. They can do, they either they can assent the bill or they can return the bill to assembly. If they return bill to assembly, state legislature can make amendments to the bill, or without making amendment bills also again will be sent to president, governor. So governor what need to do? He had to provide his assent. So he cannot reserve for president. So this decision becomes very important. In case of Telangana also, governors were expected to act on the bills as soon as possible. That's what court observed. So this is very important because significant constitutional content and constitutional functionaries should have to bear all these things in mind because they are holding government on the behalf of constitution. Governors of West Bengal and Kerala didn't learn from these judgments and observations passed by high courts and supreme courts and even lower courts also. Seven bills from Kerala, they have been reserved for president assent, and then they range from 23 to 10 months. So you can understand almost 1 to 2 years those bills without even doing anything, they just kept like that. So the issue now, governors should go above the political realm. They shouldn't consider the political ideologies. State legislature, those chief ministers, council of ministers, and other members are elected by people. They are answerable to the people because it is a democracy. They are answerable to the people. Governor should take action on those bills. He should go outside the political regime. The constitution permits such an indirect central intervention in the domain of the state legislature. Also, it is highly questionable because it directly going to central government. So, in this essence, we will discuss some powers about governor. On the executive side, he can appoint council of minister led by chief minister. Then he can appoint advocate general of the state, public service commission members. But their removal can be done only by president of India. They cannot appoint high court judges. They can even nominate a person with special knowledge, social service extra to state legislative council. In the legislative assembly, they can participate in legislature, address the house, send the messages, summoning both the houses or single house, dissolving the state assembly. All these things can be taken under Article 200. They can refer any bill to President for approval. This is the highly clause. Now Supreme Court need to give judgment. On the judicial front, they have power to grant pardon, remission, and punishment under Article 161. What is the qualification of governor? 157 of article dictates qualification. He should be citizen of India. He or she should have age of 35 years. Should not be any member of the union or state. Their appointment takes under Article 155. President appoints governor for the period of 5 years, may be terminated. They can be dismissed under Article 156. They can even resign under Article 156 also. Under emergency, Article 356, state rule or president rule basically called. In the president rule, they can suggest president about state status, and then he can request central government to impose president rule in the state when constitutional machinery fails in the state. They have no rule to impose emergency. There are several judgments in light of governor's role and contentious role. In 2016, Nabam Rebia judgment, exercise of governor's discretion under Article 163 is limited. His choice of action should not be arbitrary. He should not take action on it on his own. It should be dictated by reason, good faith, and tempered by caution. So this is what given in Nabia judgment. Even Administrative Reforms Commission in 1968 told president rule must be objective and governor should exercise his judgment in this regard. So he should not suppose say now ruling government is NDA. Some state there is a opposition government is there. So you shouldn't send central government that constitutional machinery is not functioning in the opposition government. So governor should act in the within the limits of the constitution. Rajmannar committee formed in 1951 also told about president rule and even Article 357 also. It emphasized that governors should not consider himself as an agent of the center, but play his role as a constitutional head of the state. Even Sarkaria Commission in 1998 recommended Article 350 should be used in very rarest of the rare cases. Justice V. Chelaya Commission in 2002 recommended Article 350T must be used sparingly. Even Punchi Commission also recommended. So in all these recommendations, you can see Article 356, very, very important. So governor, basically the role of governor is misutilizing. So it is in this context this article is discussed. The next article, impatience with the job. One of the issue discussed in the budget speech was about employment. It has been discussed several times with frequency, several times it has been mentioned. In this budget 24-25, employment is the central theme of the budget, and it is placed under Prime Minister package for jobs and skills. So it gives a promise to generate the employment, and it proposed a 2 lakh crore package to help 4.1 crore youth over 5 years with 3 employment linked incentive scheme. Two are hiring fresh entrants into the job market for at least 1 year with subsidies, while third scheme attempts to incentivize companies to scale up hiring beyond their previous year's work count. So that means more number of people can be, suppose this year they have taken 2,000, next year they can take 1,500. So it basically provides incentive to those companies. The skill gap is growing. To reduce the skill sets gap between the skill sets and available job roles, 1,000 industrial training institutes with curriculum designed in collaboration with industry will be promised, along with internship program for youth in almost 500 top MNCs, multinational companies. What happens when these youth take internship in these companies? It leads to employment and they can join anywhere. The details of intern placement program will be released soon, but central government promised stipend also, even 5,000 rupees will be given to those who are joining these institutions. Firms or sectors can join the scheme on voluntary basis. Tap the, there is a corporate social responsibility where corporate these MNCs allocate a certain portion of the money for betterment and welfare of the society. So they can take money from this corporate social responsibility and then give stipend to these youth. It is basically importance is given to tackle the job crisis because the opposition government highlighted several times, even in electoral campaign also. It is the now government acknowledge there is a unemployment issue in the country. So now instead of just going over, they have included unemployment in the budget. Unemployment is not a new issue. Even UPA, when Congress led United Progressive Alliance government was led, there was a huge issue about unemployment related issue. The main why unemployment is growing, what is the main issue? Investors are coming with capital intensive investment, but Indian labor laws, they are not yet ripe with this capital intensive investment. These labor laws need to be modified because of outdated labor laws. So unemployment is happening in this capital intensive industry. After Indian economy gone through severe shocks during recent years, it had gone through demonetization, and then 2017 GST rolled out, and 2019 biggest wave took, that is the COVID-19 pandemic. With that, economic entirely collapsed. But now last year economy grown with 8.2%. Now economy is growing, but economy is growing, GDP is growing, but employment is not happening. Employment should be focused in capital intensive industry, where capital intensive means India is a 50% of the population depend upon the agriculture. Agriculture is disguised unemployment. So suppose if four people or five people may be depending on agriculture from the same family, they may not generate, they will generate the same output. Suppose if one person is employed in agriculture, he generates the same output. Even four five people are also working on the same field, they generate the same output. So this is kind of disguise in unemployment. So they should focus on the manufacturing sector. When manufacturing sector they focuses, what happens? Manufacturing sector absorbs people, provides employment, they will have the salary, and then human indicator also grows. When one family, one person from a family employed, so their family entirely, their social indicators, their prestige in the society increases, then they get the salary, they start spending. When spending increases, so the manufacturing activity again increases. When manufacturing activity increases, investment in the country happens, growth happens, employment increases. This should be the model of economic growth, but it is not happening because they are not observing lot number of people in the manufacturing sector. But service sector is there. Service sector, it employs highly technological, highly sophisticated equipments. So this can be operated by very few people, and then they are generating and reaping the benefits. 10% of Indian money is concentrated in, 90% of the Indian money is concentrated in 10% of the population. So even you can see wealth and inequality report also, this also mentioned the same. So the need of the hour is we need to focus more on the manufacturing sector. We need to absorb unskilled and semi-skilled people. We have to increase the private investment, and then incentive should be provided so that production happens rather than creating the new jobs. So youth unemployment is a structural threat. So structural problems, because of these things only unemployment is coming. If we address structural issues, then employment can grow. So basically we need to boost the consumption. When consumption is growing, economy grows, employment happens. This should be the model. And giving the people, hiring the people, giving them subsidy, it is not the reason. So this is about the article. We'll discuss about this article. This is very important. As you are aware, Prime Minister, there are several councils are there to advise. One among them is Economic Advisory Council. But Prime Minister doesn't have Legal Advisory Council. Why Legal Advisory Council? To give Prime Minister on the legal related matters. We have, you can question now, we have Law Commission of India. Law Commission of India, Ministry of Law and Justice. It works under Ministry of Law and Justice. Law Commission of India is there. However, Law Commission of India, there are certain issues are there. So these are all things have been discussed under this article. Very good article. From legal point of view, we'll discuss this article. Then India government, though They got comfortable mandate in the recent elections, but they failed largely, handling legal issues. Now the scope is there for review the legal consultancy and on the government legal matters. If continuous, informed, and methodical legal inputs to government from think tanks will be given, then it will lead to good intent on these legislations, all the schemes passed by the government. As we discussed, there is the Economic Advisory Council. In the same model, Legal Advisory Council should be also established for advising Prime Minister on the same lines of Economic Advisory Council. There are several legal issues on national and social importance that emerged from present government legal matters and policy initiatives. First thing first, electoral bond scheme. It was held by Supreme Court as unconstitutional because it violates RTA, right to information. Those, suppose say one person goes and he donates to political party, this person can be human, even corporations also. Some corporations say one corporation goes and directly gives political party. When you come into power, give some project to us. Such a kind of corruption may also happen. This is against the right to information that should be intimated to voters. So it basically misleading the voters. They will have the huge money by the political parties, and then they will mislead the voters, and then they can come into the government. So to tackle these challenges, there should be a legal council. the, this electoral bond scheme can be easily predicted because there is a test of proportionality that should be conducted. If it would have been conducted, the constitutionality of this electoral bond scheme wouldn't have been questioned, and then the verdict by Supreme Court by avoiding this electoral bond scheme could have been avoided. What is this test of proportionality? Whether enforcement of this scheme balance the right to privacy of donors with the right to information of the voters. These things need to be ensured. Whether they ensured or not, this was not done because of they don't have the legal advice on that matter. Even in Aadhaar also, Aadhaar got it for delivery of financial and other subsidiaries, even benefits and services Act 2016. They have also made similar intervention by Supreme Court under case Puttaswamy and Union of India in 2018. They made it inactive. Other Act made inactive. Even Indian Penal Code recently changed to Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita. Even there is a hit and run case under 1062, section 1062. There was a transporter strike about this issue. This is also, came into Supreme Court, and this became huge hue and cry across the country. Then ultimately central government had to come down, and then they had to offer in that one stipulation is there, penalty up to 10 years of imprisonment to a person after accident he flies without informing to police station or magistrate. However, several of the transport drivers, they went against, and then they striked almost across the India. There was a strike across the India. The government agreed, they will change the act, and then only they called off their strike. See, these issues will keep on arising because there is a lack of examination from legal point of view and how the impact happens. So this is very important to fill those gaps by including legal advisory council. So why legal advisory council? Legal advisory council is a non-partisan. They will not involve. They don't have biased opinion. This is non-biased. So they are a public academic institution. There are national law universities. They are equipped with expertise, knowledge, and resources to assist the central and state governments in formulating constitutionally viable and socially accepted laws. Primary objectives are when these things are established, it is those are their primary objectives. In National Law University Delhi Act, this states study and training projects relating to law, legislation, judicial institution. So this act includes you have to go to a legal opinion, they have to consult, and you can even study also. Regular research references in legislative areas proposed by these national law universities to central and state governments. What it will do, it will enable this government to fully utilize their investments in academic institution and their expertise. Setting up of the Committee for Reforms in the Criminal Laws at National University of Delhi by Ministry of Home Affairs, nomination of authors to Department of Consumer Affairs, development of frameworks to right to repair are examples in this regard. So basically, you need to consult the legal opinion on all these matters. So these are all things have been taken in the similar lines. So if legal advisory council is formed, it will also work in the same line. Another idea is to, like we discussed, economic advisory council. There should be legal advisory council also. How legal advisory council will give? There will be legal analysis issued by referred to it by central government. It analyzes the possible impacts and outcomes and on the law upon prime minister. They will take sumoto legal research analysis on the issues on the regular and national importance on the contemporary basis. Legal advisory council, it includes luminaries, eminent jurists, prominent academicians, researchers, even specifications in various fields which are frequently legislated by central government, even in criminal law, trade law, international law, business law, and taxation law. So it will basically help. Such a body would help Law Commission of India. Law Commission of India, Legal Advisory Council, Law Commission of India, there is a huge difference. So as we discussed, Law Commission of India reports to Ministry of Law and Justice. Legal Advisory Council will be under Prime Minister of India. What is difference between Law Commission of India and Legal Advisory Council? Law Commission of India does post-mortem analysis. Already existing laws, it will give the like what should be the legal recommendation. However, Legal Advisory Council anticipate the impact. It will challenges and drawbacks in the upcoming laws, and then it will intimate the central government on the similar matter. Law Commission of India, they have just issued 4 reports in the year 2020 and 2024. So it can be shown, it is highly ineffective, and it has been criticized several times because 50% of recommendation have been not implemented, and per year only average 4.19 reports have been provided by Law Commission of India since its starting, since its founding. So the need of the hour is dynamic body that can navigate this complex and diverse legal landscape with fast and easiness in legal matters. So leveraging this academic potential, national law universities, and creation of a legal advisory council is the only solution that can help central government to navigate legal challenges. So in the legal domain, we will discuss one more thing. Indian Penal Code is replaced with Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, Indian Evidence Act 1872. It is being replaced by Bharatiya Saksha Adhiniyam, Code of Criminal Procedure 1973, replaced with Bharatiya Nagarik Suraksha Sanhita. So this is the thing. We have discussed 3 articles today. So thank you very much for the discussion.